the channel from Valaverse, we've got Action Force Series 2 with Duster and Sgt Slaughter. Welcome everyone, Kyle here. Welcome back to the channel for another Valaverse Action Force unboxing and review. And today, we've got Duster, or maybe Tim Kennedy, and we've got Sgt Slaughter. But for all your Valaverse needs, hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. Now, we looked at the first Sgt Slaughter by himself, just because that was my first go around the sun with the Action Force brand. So now I know a little bit about that one. Figured we unboxed two of these, should go a little bit faster, as we won't have to go through all the bells and whistles and all that kind of fun stuff. And of course, we'll do it like we always do on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it, we're going to unbox it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see where it goes. From there, we're going to start off Sgt Slaughter Part 2. Got to get the most out of your contracts. I'm sure they signed Sgt Slaughter for a year, 2 years, who knows what the contract is, how many figures it is, etc. But obviously Sgt Slaughter, a well-known name, as we all know from wrestling and the G.I. Joe days. So they had to put him in the line, and they want to make as many Sgt Slaughters as they can, because guess what? People love the old Sarge there. But there's Sgt Slaughter, very similar to the packaging of Series 1. Sgt Slaughter we already looked at. A lot of accessories in here. We got extra hands, we got different weapons, things like that. A little bit of a different outfit for the old Sarge. We'll dive into it when we get him out of the package. He's number 6 in Series 2. Get that kind of black and white diorama going on there. You can put all these figures together, and they kind of look like they go together, I guess you'd say. But very cool. Very, very cool. On the side, you got Action Force. And the top lets the light in. UPC's warnings on the bottom. And then, of course, the back. We got that big file card, which you guys know I do appreciate. We got the cross-sell up top. We'll get to those figures whenever they do come. I don't know when it'll be. QR code you can scan for all kinds of stuff. And then we got a little bit of Action Force points down there. Some action points. We got 2 of them. Cut and save. There it is. But I love that blurb there. That is something I feel that is direly missing. Direly? Yeah, sure, why not? Direly missing from the from the classified line. Would really like to see that. My eyes always do go back to that file card, though. Something I just think the classified series is sorely missing. Hopefully one day maybe they'll change it up, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I believe the Walmart Retro ones will have that going on. But Sgt Slaughter, he's a major retired. So once again, this is retired Sgt Slaughter. This is an old school Sgt Slaughter. It does say on the back here, 6'2", 240 pounds. He's retired, Benning. So yeah, I'll have this freeze frame, so if you want to read through all that, you can, if you are so inclined. But let's get him out of the package here. Whoa, we're throwing stuff around. A lot more accessories with this one. Very interesting. Let's see what we got going on here. We got a little baggie of stuff. We got a backpack, and we got a tan coat. So choose your own coat adventure. He came with a green coat on the last one. Now we got a tan one here. We'll get him out of the plastic prison a little bit. See you later. Off to the back. Came back like a boomerang. Right at me. Very, very cool. But there's a Sarge in the plastic prison. A lot going on this one. 2 hats, 2 weapons, stand, more hands, glasses. A lot going on. And then, of course, we got that little cellophane type wrapping right there. Pull that off. See you later. Get out of here. All right, let's see if we can get all this stuff out. Once again, we get the stand. We talked about that before. I do love that good old stand there. Lots of hands here. Once again, tons of hands with the Sarge, that's for sure. Get all this out. Got the big weapon here. I'm not sure what the gun's called. We'll have to figure that out, too. I'm sure the glasses are going to be taped in. They always are. Yes. Can I slide them out? Yes, I can. Bent it a little bit, though. And then Sarge finally. See you later, off to the side. All right, let's get down to it here. Now, hand-wise, it looks like we got the same exact setup we got before. We get one with the pointer finger. I used that on the last one. I don't think I'll use it on this one. You got 2 fists going on. You got 2 slapping hands, and then you got 2 gripping hands. So choose your own hand adventure, running strong, running free in the Action Force brand there. Once again, we do get Slaughter's hat, his patented drill sergeant hat, a little bit of a lighter tone compared to the first one. And we'll do some comparison shots, glamour shots, comparisons towards the end there. But you do have that coming here. Got to have that. Then he has more of a gung-ho type hat. We all know gung-ho, one of the G.I. Joe's proudest Marines, of course. That's what this reminds me of. They do have an accessories pack for Valaverse that has this hat in gung-ho likeness and stuff. So that's interesting. I might try this on him, see if that's a good change of pace or not. Once again, you get that weapon. Does have room for effects once again on the end. Not as shiny, more of a darker gray to it. Nice black handle, but a beautiful big gun there. Something Charles Bronson would have. That's what he'd have there in Death Wish maybe. Or Clint Eastwood or something like that. But then we got the big old gun here, and this is pretty cool. We even got articulation here with the middle, so this does rotate in the middle. I think that is really cool. Nice gunmetal silver going on against the black accents. Very cool. Couldn't tell you what this weapon is called, but looks good. And Sarge didn't really use this kind of stuff. I would have liked to seen the traditional G.I. Joe rifle in use, but beggars can't be choosers, as you guys know. We just can't be. Beggars, they can't be choosers. That's just true. I do like this baggie here because I can put all my hands, everything else I got with Sarge, I can put it back in this baggie, so that is appreciated. We got an old school G.I. Joe backpack, plugs into the back as well. We talked about that in Sgt. Slaughter #1. A spot in his back, plug a backpack in. You can also hold it with the handle here. A little 2-in-1 action here. So I like that. I like the old school G.I. Joe style backpacks. Always been a favorite of mine. They work out very well. Then he's got the overcoat going on here. So he will have a sleeveless overcoat if you are so inclined. He does have this big apparatus. We'll talk about that in a second. But this does match this hat. So I do like... you can totally change. Some people might get 2 of these Slaughters, really change them up. You could change different hands, different weapons, different outfits. Really a 2-in-1 Slaughter at the end of the day. So that is a possibility. And then you get the glasses once again, but this time a bronze color with the black lenses. So a little different. Once again, setting itself apart from Series 1 Sgt. Slaughter. We like that as well. Then we get down to the Sarge here. So he's got bare arms going on. Got a little butterfly action on the arms on this one as well. So a little bit more articulation. Something I don't know if I mentioned in the last review of Sgt. Slaughter, but definitely I'm going to mention it now, and you notice it a lot more on the bare arms. Pinless joints, the wave of the future, as you guys know. Pinless joints throughout on here. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Of course, the hands. Let's see, can these hands be removed without the hair dryer? And it doesn't seem to be. Same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that aspect of it. I think these hands, I don't like the screwdriver or the screw type hands in there. I'd rather see them like Marvel Legends or anything else. It's just too hard to get out. And I don't like having to run upstairs, get the hairdryer, do it. Hopefully I don't have to do that every single time if you want to switch your hands, or you better figure out your hand and call it good from there. But then you do get the diaphragm, you get a hula hoop up top and at the bottom, so you get a double kind of wave of articulation at the waist. Head moves up, down, all around, of course. Head sculpt seems to be about the same. I'm going to grab this Slaughter right now. Actually, a hair different, I think. I'm going to pull this off. Is it different? It's pretty close, I'd say. It does look a little different. That could just be a little paint apps going on. This one almost feels like a fuller face. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That could just be, like I said, the paint going on. I'm going to stick this Sarge right there. But the hands, yeah, that does bother me. Then he's got this big vest going on, and I'm trying to look to see how this unclips from him. Oh, there it is, right on the side. Took him a while. Very well hidden, too. I do appreciate that, but this whole vest is hidden on the side there. So you can remove that. Very good. Once again, though, like a lot of things, a little harder to clip back in. Not the hardest, actually. But a nice vest, utility vest. A lot of pockets throughout there. Full of stuff. They aren't removable. There's no articulation to it or anything, but just good for the eye, of course. A hole in his back. You can put the backpack in there if you are so inclined. He does have a little pouch on the side here. That is where we saw the knife on the last Sgt. Slaughter. Same holster on the side here for where his weapon goes. And then the articulation down below. You got the thigh cut. You got the double jointed knees. Of course, the boot cut. And then the ankles. Nice ankles. Nice tight joints, but movable joints on this one. Sometimes we get joints that are so tight they almost just don't move for us. And that gets a little bit annoying. But yeah, very good. I'm going to try this other hat on him, see how that looks. Gosh, it does look strange to me. As much as I'd like to use a different hat on Sgt. Slaughter, anything but the drill sergeant hat just does not work for me. It just doesn't look right. I don't know. It just doesn't. Maybe my mind has seen Sgt. Slaughter too many times throughout the years, I'm sure. We know Sgt. Slaughter the way we know him, and it's tough to look past that, at least for me. Put that other hat on. I mean, that's the iconic Sgt. Slaughter. That's the Slaughter we know, we love, all that kind of stuff. Nice paint throughout. I like the camo pants and stuff better than kind of the sand desert camo on this one. Still not bad, but I think I do prefer this one over this one. But this one's good too. You could do some mix and matching of the body parts, I bet. I bet you could heat up some joints and pull some waist and stuff and choose your very favorite Sgt. Slaughter if you want to compare these two guys a little bit. That would probably be a possibility. Of course, he fits on the stand like we talked about. Yep. But these glasses do fall off. I mentioned it before. You could get some sticky tack and put it in the hat, put it on the glasses to make this stay a little bit better. I don't know. It always is tough with some of these glasses. Yeah, there it is. And then, of course, we got the Mattel version, the Ultimate Edition Sgt. Slaughter right here. Much, much bigger. These are more in scale with your G.I. Joe classified figures than they are the Mattel Elites and Ultimates, unfortunately. So take that for what it is. But I really do like these Sgt. Slaughters, and I just like Sgt. Slaughter, so maybe I'm a little biased, but it does look very good. My biggest con with these is having to heat up the hands. I don't like to do that. I don't want to do that every single time, and it feels like I would have to. Yeah, I don't like that. That's just a lot of work. If you're far away, like I'm in my basement, I don't want to go up to the top floor, all the way to the bedroom, find the hair dryer. Maybe I just need to find a little hair dryer to keep down here. Maybe that's the answer, but I just want to be able to plug and play my hands and move things around. I don't want to have to do a ton of work and take a half hour just to get things the exact way I want it. Maybe I'm different. You guys can tell me in the comments there. But that's Sgt. Slaughter. Now let's take a look at Duster. All right, next up we have Duster. And Duster, for those of you guys don't know, is based on Tim Kennedy, mixed martial artist from the UFC, Bellator. I believe he was an Army Ranger, if I remember right. So that's very cool to get some kind of guest appearances mixed in here. I just like that idea. And Tim Kennedy was one of my favorite fighters during his heyday. But you get him right there. Very similar packaging to the Sgt. Slaughter, of course. He does get an extra head in here. So you can make this Tim Kennedy or you can make this somebody else. So I think that is a little, once again, a little 2-in-1 action, a little extra fodder if you're making some customs, things like that. Same packaging we saw with Sgt. Slaughter on the side, of course. Action Force on the other side. And then in the back, we get the big blurb going on. We get the cross-sell. You get the QR codes. You get the points down at the bottom. Follow them on YouTube, Twitter, all the fun stuff there. Does it say anything good about Duster here? From San Luis Obispo, home of Chuck Liddell, I believe, California. E8 Master Sergeant. Okay, file name Tim Kennedy right there on the back. So that's really cool. I think a lot of people wouldn't know that it's actually Tim Kennedy, or maybe they don't put 2 and 2 together. Maybe they don't like mixed martial arts, whatever. But I really do like this a whole lot. Does it say anything about MMA in here? It doesn't look like it. And so it just talks about stuff. And I'll have this paused up on the video for you guys if you want to read it. Long blurbs on here, which I appreciate, but too long to read. So there it is, Tim Kennedy off to the side. Little plastic prison. We get the double plastic prison with these, as you guys know. See you later. Ooh, knocking things over. That's the way it goes sometimes. There's old Duster in the plastic prison. Gotta love it. Gotta love the plastic prison. Then you get the cellophane. You gotta pull that off. Remove right like so. See you later. Holy cow, we get a lot of different accessories with this one. So we get tons of hands, we get a pistol, we get a big old rifle, we get a headset like a young dial tone, extra head, helmet, a lot going on in here. So there's a lot to unpack. We get all this stuff out of here. I really like the gun on this one too. I'm guessing the hands, I'm going to have the same issue with the hands. I mean, I'm going to have to set it and forget it. There's no way I'm going back to the hairdryer 1,000 times for these hands. It's just not for me. Whoa, I'm knocking stuff out. What is this? I'm not even sure what these are. Come on. There it is. All right, I got a little pistol action here. And a lot of hands, as we said. Hands, hands, hands. Very dial tone-esque, though. If you guys are familiar with your Joes, see you later. A very dial tone-esque. Oh, ooh, that does come out. Okay, now we're cooking. All right, we're going to look at the figure first, then we'll dive into some of these accessories here. A lot going on here. It definitely looks like Tim Kennedy. A little cartoonish maybe, but it's definitely Tim Kennedy if you know Tim Kennedy at all. Nice blue undershirt throughout, green vest. I like the dial tone-esque communication equipment on the back. Does have a holster. It is not removable, but you do got a spot for his pistol on the side. He does come with one knife that is removable. I was kind of surprised. I didn't think it would be removable, but you can remove that. He does have the hole in the back for his backpack, of course. Green gloves, bare arms, pinless joints. Then he's got a holster on the side. Same one we saw in Sgt. Slaughter Part 2 right here. We got that there. Nothing else on the other side. Kind of some khaki pants, army pants. Good ankle articulation. Same articulation as the Sgt. Slaughters, so we're used to all that kind of stuff. But then he does come with an extra head, which is kind of funny. I don't know what this head is supposed to be or who it's supposed to be. It almost looks like And I guess both of these heads look very similar. It's like evil Tim Kennedy. He's got a painter's goatee going on, so maybe it's the evil version of Tim Kennedy. It also looks a heck of a lot like actor Rob Riggle. If you ever heard of Rob Riggle, you'd know him if you saw him, I guess. Kansas City's own, I believe. That's what it looks like. It looks like him with a mustache going on. But I'm going to pop this head off and see how this looks. Once again, maybe you need to buy multiples of this character because you might need 2 heads on it. It looks a little strange. If I can get it to line up and go on. Holy cow. Might have to heat it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. I got it. No, it won't go on. So I'm going to have to heat that up too. I'm just not a fan of having to heat my stuff up. I know it's, for the safety of the toy, you won't break it, stuff like that. This is a very weird one too, as the angle with his long goatee and long face, it doesn't fit in quite right straight. So that's a little interesting there. Can I get it? Holy cow, it's fighting me. I might have to I'm going to have to heat it up. Gosh, I don't like to do that, like I just said. It just seems like too much work. We got a lot of figures to play with, a lot of stuff to do. I can't be running upstairs heating stuff up left and right when I'm trying to change things, but so it is, I guess. He does come with some great accessories here. Now the hands, it looks like all the same Sgt Slaughter hands are here. We've got 2 Fists of Fury. You might need those for Tim Kennedy if he's going to do some Army MMA. You got the slapping hands, kind of the cupped hands going on here. Then you got 2 gripping hands to hold things, of course. He does have firing away hands on him here. Trigger hands, I guess I should call them. So he does have that. Does come with nice green headphones here for some communications if he's got to get a hold of somebody, or if he wants to listen to some tunes. Maybe he's going to listen to some Motorhead. You never know what he's going to be doing. Those fit on so-so. They might need heated up as well to get exactly fit right. So we do have that. We do have this pistol here. I believe this is the pistol that'll fit on the side. Yes, it will. Just a small black pistol. No other colors on this one, just black. And then you do get his big rifle here. I do like this one a lot. I will have him posed with this one. Very nice, big, intimidating rifle. Black accents against the tan throughout. Very, very good look to that one. He does have his helmet. How well does that helmet fit? Helmet fits good. Yeah, helmet fits good on him. So you do have the helmet if you're so inclined on that. And then I'm not sure exactly what these are. I mean, these look... I have no idea what this stuff is. Oh, wait. This fits on his helmet, maybe? Oh, wait a minute. I think I see here. So this fits in the front of his helmet. I'll probably have to heat it up. Nope, I won't. It's little goggles. So night vision or whatever, you can put those on his helmets. Those are on the front. These plug in somewhere, I'm sure. Oh, right there. So you can take the flaps off the helmet. So we're figuring this out here. It's taken a while, but we're getting there. You take the flaps out of the helmet so you can change it up and put these on the side of the helmet if you're so inclined to do that to get more of a radio type thing going on with the helmet. So really dressing that helmet up if you are so inclined to do that. So a lot of choose your own adventure with this one as well. I'm sure he'll fit on this stand. These do not fit on the ringside collectible stands we usually use, but they do fit on their own stands they come with. So very, very solid. A little plain. It just depends. What are you looking for in Army figures? I obviously love G.I. Joe. He has no G.I. Joe lore to him, so it's a little weird, but I think I might use a lot of these Action Force guys to kind of build out my Joe ranks. Have these kind of in the back, kind of around. Obviously, Sgt. Slaughter is going to go up to the front. He'll be with my boy Flint. Who we got Flint right here. Basically the same size as Tim Kennedy here, Duster. So I do appreciate that. I do like that. I like they're in the same world so you can put them together. I think that works very, very well for what they're trying to accomplish with the Action Force. To be a subline of G.I. Joe, kind of run alongside and you can intermingle, I think it is very smart. I would love to see more of that in other toy lines. But it does get expensive. These are more expensive than your G.I. Joe classified figures. That is for sure. You can get these on Big Bad Toy Store, like I said. But a lot of accessories, a lot of playability. My biggest gripe is the hands. I don't like to have to work to get my hands off. But that's not bad. Tight joints, good color applications, good decor on them. There's really a lot to like here. Just one negative as far as I see. And where I sit, that's all I see. And of course I sit right here. So there you go. But The Sarge, of course, is always going to be my favorite. Tugs at my old heartstrings of nostalgia. But what do you guys think? Are you here for it? Are you picking and choosing? You passing? You picking up just Slaughter? You getting all of them? Let me know in the comments down below. And then you made it this far, you might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the old notification bell on, and then follow along on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Support the channel, pick up a t-shirt, and then the best way to support the channel, of course, on Patreon, link in the description below, where you can see these videos and a lot of other videos. We're early, sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months. So there you go, a little action force with Tim Kennedy, Duster, and Sgt Slaughter. And until next time, I'm Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.